One of the most common questions that I get when I pull up in my Murcielago at the gas station is it gated? Is it gated? And I go, no, it's not gated. And those guys just turn around and walk away. What's up with that? What's up, everyone? My name is Arun Coumar, and I am the driver. And today, we've changed up the set. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Getting out the whole YouTube calls to action really early today. So also subscribe, whatever, all that stuff. Today, we're talking about an interesting topic that kind of bothers me from time to time. And the reason I want to talk about it is I think I can help some people both who are exotic car owners and who are aspiring exotic car owners to handle the chance connections, chance interactions between the two sides better, more productively. And specifically, I want to talk about what to ask exotic car owners and how to answer those questions as an exotic car owner when you see them at a gas station. Pretty much the most cliche thing that I see on social media or that has happened to me on several occasions is you see a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or whatever pull up at a gas station and someone gets out of the car. And if you are a car enthusiast and you aspire to one day own a Lamborghini, a Koenigsegg, a Ferrari, a Pagani, whatever, an Aston Martin, whatever it is, you'll see that person get out of the car and you'll instantly idolize them. Potentially, in most cases. That was my situation, is if ever I saw someone getting out of a Lamborghini in public, immediately I wanted to know everything about that person. I was so excited to see the car, and it was a nerve-wracking experience because on one hand, I really wanted to understand that person's reality because their reality was one that included owning a car, or at least driving a car, that I wanted desperately. And so I wanted to get to know that situation. How did they earn it? What came of it? And on the other hand, I also wanted to experience the car. I wanted to get up close, see all the details, get inside, or at least look inside and understand what it looked like and capture the moment so I could share it with people later. Take a picture of it, send it to my dad, who at the time, especially when I was a kid, was like my main car friend, where it'd be like, oh, look what I saw today, and that kind of thing with your car friends is you're sharing what that experience was like for you. When I was in that position, though, I really never worked up the courage to ask any of these people anything about their lives. Every time I saw someone who looked like they were an exotic car owner because they were getting out or getting in or walking around an exotic car that was parked on the street or at a gas station or whatever it is, I was too scared to go up to them at all. But today's day and age, social media, the school of hard knocks, and that Instagram channel, that guy running up to exotic car owners all the time and asking them about their business, it's become a trend. It's become something that you see happening at car meets where exotic car owners are getting interviewed about what they do for work and all this. But in the day-to-day of my experience interacting with the public with my Lamborghini, people are really missing out on an opportunity to connect with exotic car owners. And when I'm out with other exotic car owners, I see a huge missed opportunity to inspire and educate the next generation of car enthusiasts on how to go about acquiring these cars. And so today, I want to give you kind of what I see as an exotic car owner and how people ask me questions. And then I want to talk about how I think you could go about asking questions, getting to know that situation better, and getting the most out of that interaction. Okay, so first, what do I actually see in my day-to-day? The first thing that people ask me all the time with my car, though this is not something that happens this specifically across all exotic car owners, but there are similar situations for all exotic car owners in this situation, is I have a Murcielago LP640. And in the last couple of years, those cars have become very famous for the rarity of the gated manual transmission in those Murcielagos. I am 6'8", and if you go watch videos that we've done in the long time ago past about my Murcielago, my leg lands in the center console, my right leg, where my foot is on the brake and the gas pedal, and my knee extends out and into the center of the car before coming back into my hip in the seat. That point where my knee is right where the gated shifter could be. So even if I had the money, like 10 times potentially what I paid for my car to buy a factory gated manual LP640 today, about 10 times, my car was a cheap opportunity, I couldn't drive it. I have sat in gated manual Murcielagos, a couple of them, and I can't get into reverse, first, or second gear because of where my leg is. So for me, there's no point in pursuing a gated manual. Even if it was converted and I had that extra 60 grand to spend on a gated manual conversion, I can't do it. I wouldn't do it because I couldn't drive the car afterwards. And so the way I answer that question when a kid runs up to me at a gas station and says, "Is it gated?" And I go, "No, it's not gated." And they go, "Oh, okay." And it's as if the $250,000 car no longer matters. But when they saw it, they were extremely excited about it. And they probably only see one of these kind of cars once a year. Maybe if it's somebody else, some other spec, some other model of car, maybe it's an Aventador, but it's not an SVJ. Maybe it's an F8, not an SF90, but they look so similar, people are getting them confused. These are all things that somehow are disappointing today's car enthusiasts, even though it's a car that you never see. Even if you see it every day on social media, to see one of these cars in the wild, unless you live in Miami or LA or New York or Connecticut, in that wealthy part of the area in the summer, or the San Francisco Bay Area on certain days of the weekend when there are really big car events happening here, you don't see these cars all that often. So savor the moment. Don't let your social media inflated perception of these types of cars make you lose out on the excitement of seeing such a cool car. The second thing that people will ask me when they see my car is they'll ask for a picture of it, and they'll typically be really shy about it, and they'll say, "Hey, excuse me, would you mind if I took a picture of your car?" And I go, "Absolutely." And I'm really happy to be able to do that for people, and that's what I did. Is I was one of the people that was very sheepish, and I would never ask. I would just take a picture like secretly, like off to the side or whatever. And that was a very exciting moment to capture, and I'm glad that I got to do that. But you can take it a little further in those situations. Yes, there's some owners who are a lot more protective of their car than others, but you might be allowed to sit in the car if you asked. And I've had some people over time be able to ask me that too. But on the other hand, you do have to ask. You have to be respectful of other people's property. I've had people jump into my car holding food because they thought that it was just free reign to get into a car just because the door was open and it's a cool car. That's not appropriate at all. The best approach, if this is the tactic or the value that you want to get out of this connection with another person, is take all the pictures and videos you want. If you want to learn more about the car, ask some questions about it. Maybe you don't know what it is, but it just looks exotic and it looks special to you, and that's cool. But you can learn more about it, because these things are driving pieces of art, but they're also a status symbol. They're also a cool thing to see and experience in your life. And you should savor the moment. You should take in everything that you can with it, and hopefully you'll learn something about the car that enables you to share something that may get you more into the hobby, that may entice you to learn even more about these cars so that you can use it as motivation in the same way that I do, that has led me to make the decisions that I've made in my life around my career in order to earn the money to buy these cool cars. That's really what this comes back to. The third question that people will ask me very regularly when I am out at car meets, gas station, whatever it is. I've had this happen to me literally in the parking lot of a grocery store on my wife's birthday. I went to buy some flowers for her in the Murcielago, and two of the grocery store employees came up to me and asked me this question. This is the question. "What do you do for a living?" "Oh, well, I own a chain of automotive repair shops." My answer. And they go, "Oh, that's so cool." And that's it. If you think about why you're asking that question, it's not just because social media taught you to ask that question. There's a reason behind it. It is a good question. The point is you want one of these cars someday. And so you're trying to understand how someone was able to afford it because you cannot conceive of how you could do that from your current situation. This is my experience, at least, is when I was working my W-2 job right out of college and making 90 grand a year, I was pretty far removed from thinking about buying a $200,000 plus car. And so if I saw someone out with a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 Lamborghini, Ferrari, Rolls Royce, whatever it may be, I would be curious what they did for a living. I'd be curious how they earned that car. And so if I ask that question, there's some additional information that you could get that you are just one or two more questions away from getting if you dig. In my experience, if I am asked, what do you do for a living? And I answer the question with, I own a chain of repair shops, that's great, but that's a step one. That is step one. I own a chain of repair shops. There is no way for that person asking me that question to understand what got us there in the first place. How did I go from being a kid who may or may not have already had a chain of repair shops in the family or whatever it is, all the way up to owning that Murcielago or whatever it is today? That delta is something that you can figure out. The path of how somebody got to where they are today is something you can figure out in a short number of questions, but they have to be the right questions. And so here is what you should ask exotic car owners once you want to go down that path. What do you do for a living is just a starting point. The better question is, how did you buy this car? What did you do to buy this car? Because I can give you a very specific story for how I earned the money to buy my car specifically. And for most exotic car owners, because it's still an aspirational object that we all want and desire and lust after and all of that, the moment that we are able to actually buy that car is a special moment. And in a lot of cases, we are really excited to share that story with you. And so in my case, I'm happy to share that story. I received a very large payout from closing a deal where I helped sell an automotive company, and I got money so that I could buy this car cash. And I reached out to a well-known person in the community to buy my childhood dream car with just the right amount of money in my bank account to be able to buy a really bad example. And so I reached out to him and I said, are there any really bad examples? And he said, one got posted on Facebook Marketplace in New Jersey today. And so I messaged the guy on Marketplace, set up a meeting for the following day, flew on a red eye across the country and bought that car cash the next day. And I'm happy to share that story because it makes it much more real for how you can get there. A follow-up question might be, how'd you get into the opportunity to sell that company? Oh, well, I went to school for accounting. And then I worked really hard and I got my MBA and I started my own consulting business. And I was able to work that consulting business into a subcontractor position for a larger company where I had the opportunity to sell this company. I had my very heavy hand in selling that company by understanding how they worked, understanding the numbers behind it. And I delivered the value such that somebody got paid several $100 million for selling their company, and I got a little piece of that. You can ask those kind of questions and super quickly go from, man, I'll never own one of those cars one day, to, oh, this guy got a degree in accounting, and then he just intentionally worked really hard and put himself in the right opportunity doing things that he was good at. Once you understand that, it actually makes buying these cars seem super possible. And that's the whole point of this video, is if you see someone pull up at a gas station, there are always going to be lessons that you can learn from someone who is in that car. Maybe it's something you shouldn't do. And this is where I'm going to get into how exotic car owners should be handling themselves in these situations, because you get a lot of exotic car owners, in my experience, who are super dismissive of these aspirational enthusiasts coming up to you and interacting with you about your car. If they want to know how you earned the car, it's not your right to tell them. You don't have to tell them, but I don't see why not. You can remain a person who isn't Googleable or whatever your thing is with it, and you can still help them. You can still teach them how you earned the money to be able to buy that car. But instead, I get so many of my connections in the exotic car industry that are way overly vague or dismissive of these types of questions. They just straight up won't answer them. And I do not understand that. You're not putting yourself at risk. You're not putting yourself on blast. And the only reason that I can think of for why you wouldn't answer this question honestly, except for misplaced paranoia, is that you're ashamed of it. Maybe you didn't earn it legitimately. Maybe you got a big inheritance, whatever it is. If you earned it illegitimately, then yeah, you probably should be ashamed of it. If you stole money, if you committed fraud in order to get the car, yeah, okay, maybe you should probably change your ways. Like, don't be trying to flex with this car, and you probably aren't watching this video anyways, but if you're ashamed of something that you earned legitimately or you inherited or whatever it may be, that's okay. I would prefer you be honest about that and you earn it and you own your life circumstances so that you can help show that transparency and education to that next generation of car enthusiasts. Because there are enough people out there like me who are willing to be transparent that we will help inspire them. But on the other hand, if they interact with exclusively these really cagey and dismissive and rude people, then you're not going to inspire them. In fact, you're going to do the opposite. I met an asshole in a Lamborghini once. He was a dick. I don't want one of those cars anymore. I'm going to go ride my bike. I'm going to take the bus, whatever it is. That's a horrible situation to find yourselves in. As a car enthusiast, you don't want to end up meeting a hero potentially and then end up completely disliking the interaction because they were a dick to you. So in closing, for exotic car owners, try to be as transparent as you're comfortable with in helping to educate and inspire the next generation. Show off your car. Tell people how you got it. Explain the spec, and don't let the social media inflation of exotic cars today diminish the pride that you have in your car. If they want to know about the spec of the car, make sure you share everything that makes it special, even if it is a base model, because it is special to you. And talk about what makes it special to you. And lastly, if they want to know what you do for a living, take it further. Be educational about it. Get more curious if you are on the other side of it as a young enthusiast to figure out how you could someday earn these cars, because it is the reality for all of us. There is no glass ceiling here that's going to keep you from being possible to someday buying or affording Lamborghini, Ferrari, Rolls-Royce, Bentley. I'm missing a million brands out there, I know, and you're going to comment. You're going to roast me in the comments for it. But that's okay, and that's what I've got for this video. So for YouTube purposes, again, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment if you have any questions or feedback, and don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, stay driven.